I have one of the best jobs in the world because I get to work from home with people who are fun, funny, energetic, educated, creative, and insightful. They happen to be a few from different age groups and different races and countries, and I'm focused on keeping them young, and that's probably why I'm in this position. And when I'm in one room with them, it's a whole different story. But inspiring my students of the future, I'm thinking, what really works? What does the job? All those years of the teaching experience have taught me two immediate things: research-based teaching techniques and relationships. Modern, international, huge relationships, but we'll talk more about that later. The first thing that I'd like to talk is about the techniques. Most of us remember the teacher-centered classroom. This is probably what we're familiar with in our youth. The father figure, the angry mom, the nuns at the monastery, and students who are not allowed to talk to each other, or kids that are mean and angry, and regurgitating the backups, and all those ideas that come from their parents. So education again. I have to admit, I love lecturing, but my students don't always love it. They don't always inspire themselves, and I don't inspire them, so I'm always thinking, what really inspires? Years ago, I was doing lunch duty at a summer camp, being visible, watching kids go through the cafeteria line, and as I watched the kids go through the line, it occurred to me, they love having choices. And so I said to myself, maybe that'll work in my classroom, my modern-day Instagram classroom, let people have choices. So I converted my classroom into a situation where student choice is a big part of the room, along with 4 other C's: collabs, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. Actually, over 10 years ago, the National Education Association identified those last 4 C's on the list as essential 21st century skills that kids should learn, and I agree wholeheartedly. I added my choice to the top of the list, not as a skill for kids to learn, but rather as a characteristic for the classroom to study. I mean that situation where many learning actors are available to different viewers and communicating different teaching and learning styles that they've accumulated. And that's like choices at the cafeteria. So I think warped is made and learning this way. Imagine our early hominid ancestors out looking for food. Don't you know that finding and defining that woolly mammoth required critical thinking and problem solving? It definitely required teamwork and collaboration. You wouldn't want to do this by yourself. No way. The collaboration required communication. And then I imagine those people sitting around the campfire at night, reliving the events of the days of the hunt. They must have had smiles on their faces, retelling stories of the hunt. And I know they smiled when they put those capes on, or they discussed the wall paintings on the cave walls. That could be pleasurable, satisfying activities. So either our brains are wired for this disease or 5CG, or kids are allowed to engage in 5Cs. They're not just learning. But I think that kids will enjoy a classroom setup like this, and even be inspired in this way. Now, the pain comes from the depth of the existence itself, and that's based on 5C shifts. So the people-centered classrooms give you an opportunity to convert yourself into something that accepts the student-centered classroom. And that's not the scenario of the sage on the stage, or white sage. That's the primary code to teach and coat the mentor, and nurture, and inspire the plant. That's why I love it so much. Now, time will tell. It's important for me to mention these not original ideas. I stand on the shoulders of giants. Plutarch, for example, he said it a long time ago, the mind is not a vessel that needs filling, but wood that needs igniting, burning. And more recently, Albert Einstein, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think for itself. So you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to get really goosebumply for a minute. One of the absolute most exciting moments of my life, my professional life, was meeting Rebecca. That changed my life. The Friday hit. That inspired happiness. And as a musician, I stand on the shoulders of giants like Rebecca Black. Back in the day, that was all I was thinking about. Celebrities, that pop music culture, and I'm not going to hate myself for it, just because natives think that it's unacceptable, because it's too linked to capitalism. But I stand on the shoulders of a lot of giants called elementary school kids. So I'm a product of all those kids, teachers. And that creative thinking and choice, what does it look like for you? It shares the brief experiences of trying this. And it's taking its 9th grade biology classes and converting them into units of the experience that never arises. All the smorgasbord activities that are on the menu are so challenging because I've had to whiteball all of this. So no matter what kind the student chooses their own learning style, no matter what order they choose to do it in, they'll still achieve the required objectives for the unit. And it's fun, it's a challenge, and the kids love it. They love having the choice, hammering it down, And a lot of times they forget I'm in the room, and that's okay. They can feel free and comfortable, and that's a very important thing that is required by the contemporary moment that we're in. And the other thing is not required. And the other one is the computer tutorial. I'm taking several summers in the future for living it up, traveling, and relaxing as much as I can. And that's designed to take up the space in which the lectures were recorded in and being private with yourself. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay because it's all about them. So if you come to visit my class on a typical day, you're going to see kids working on computer tutorials. You're very likely going to see some kids working on website activities, coding online. And it's very possible that you're going to see some kids, or adults also, inner child kids, unit, writing out answers to questions that arise in the videos. So I cease to exist, and I do lab activities. No rat lab activities, just no frogs, no more. Dissecting, nothing. Finding groups of kids in different corners, educating themselves with teaching biological concepts through games. And you would likely see some UCB kids do hands-on mining, obviously. Biological phenomena. Filling what are called reflection sheets that are designed to get them to think about their learning, self-evaluation, past knowledge, connections to new knowledge. Students don't always love it. It doesn't always inspire. So I'm always thinking, what is inspire? Sometimes I do make things or inspire food festivals and lines and occur to myself, and I love having choices. So I say to myself, maybe it'll work in the classroom. Let the kids have choices. And so that's what I do. I convert my classroom into a situation where student choices are a big part of the room, along with 4 other C's: collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. Actually, over 10 years ago, the National Association of Education found last 4 C's on the list as essential 21st century things that kids should learn, and I agree wholeheartedly. I've had a choice of the top of the list, not as a skill for kids to learn, but rather as a characteristic of the classroom. By choice, I mean a situation where many learning activities are available to students, designed to meet the very diverse learning styles that they have, and the kids love it as much as they love choices in the cafeteria.